It's done. And it was such a fan-fucking-tastic ride. 100% first playthrough came in at about 10.5 hours. I'm not going to talk about the story tonight. I want to process it. But good God, what a fantastic experience Metroid Dread is. It is definitely going to stick with me in a way that Samus Returns didn't. And maybe even a lot of the other Metroids might not. Don't get me wrong. Stuff like Super and Fusion will always be fun to go back and play through. I also need to do myself a favor and actually sit down and finish Zero Mission at some point. But Dread is just such a fun experience. Like, the majority of today was item cleanup. Like, I could have finished the game fairly early in the day, as is about 2 hours ago, 2.5 maybe, is when I finished it. And yeah, like I said, a lot of the day was spent on cleaning up. And even running around, not knowing where I am, but just like weaving through enemies, throwing in a counter, or like jumping over a couple, countering one, sliding under an enemy, just it's so easy to keep up your momentum. The game is so kinetic and fluid in its movement. Where in the past, and this isn't to say one is absolutely better than the other, but where in the past, 2D Metroids were more about very, very deliberate movement. And like, don't get me wrong, a lot of the boss fights are still very deliberate movement. Stand here, don't stand there, jump now. But as far as moving, especially moving around throughout the environments, it's just so fluid. The slide that you can do from the beginning just goes so far. Like, even after you recover your morph ball, you still just slide. You can still just slide, just being able to slide through those short gaps instead of having to stop. Instead of every single time having to stop, switch to morph ball, roll through, switch out of morph ball, continue, or worse, swap, or stop, switch to morph ball, lay bomb, wait on bomb, land from bomb launching, roll through hole. Come out of, no, one button, momentum, keep it going. Won't even stop running, won't even slow down, unless you want to. It's just, and like, the way bosses just start to click, like and this is the part of the game that's going to be most likely going to be different for everybody, depending on your own skill level and determination and patience. I will tell you right now, Metroid Dread was hard, especially in places. but it was hard but fair, and it was not hard to be frustrating. It was, like, it didn't go out of its way to annoy you. It just demanded, it has demands. I'm not explaining this well. How do I want to say this? It really does feel like that when you die, you you are the one that messed up. It's not some, frame perfect bull crap, or like, I mean, there's a little bit of that, but the game's very clear on when it's going to be. Is my best way to keep it vague. The only real frame perfect tricks you have to pull off are not expected of you. We'll put it that way. There's situations that you shouldn't be in. And I really do think the key to keeping this fun is doing away with all the way back to last save. When you die, boss beats you, fine, try it again while it's still fresh. Go again, go again. You need to do it, go again. It's kind of the same sort of this is hard but fun that Hotline Miami manages, because, like, that's another game that demands perfection on another level, let's be honest. But mess up, you mess up, press space, go again. Mess up, press space, go again. It's pretty much that fast. There's a short loading screen in Dread, but load times are not anything that you might worry they'd be. They're not like, it's definitely not like when you die in Breath of the Wild and you just gotta sit there for like at least 5 seconds, most of the time longer, and you have no idea where you're getting put. No, it's like Dread's loading screens are just enough time to take a breath, stretch your hands, and go again. It's not a game that wastes your time. All cutscenes are skippable, including let's say that some of the bosses that have different phases have sort of cinematic transitions between those phases. You can skip them. I mean, they're generally short and sweet, and rarely did I find myself skipping them, unless some of them can be a little longer. There's a boss that you can expect to encounter, but somewhere around the 2-hour mark, between 2 and 3 hours of your first playthrough, where the transition is kind of long, and I did catch myself skipping it every time. But overall, most of the bosses with those phases they're short and sweet, but you can still skip them if you want to. It's just really a good game. It's a really good game, and it's almost surreal how great it feels to have a fantastic new Metroid game. I'm. If I had to rate it right now, I'd probably say it's a 10 out of 10 game. And I think I've talked about this before. For me, a 10 out of 10 game is a game that accomplishes everything it set out to do. It's a game that set clear goals and met or exceeded them. And I really do think Dread does that. If you are not familiar with, if I dot points, it would be, if you're not familiar with this style of game, there are times where you can be caught running around. I don't know if the game has a hint system like the old ones do. I don't think it does, which can be a bit of a downer for, again, people that aren't overly familiar with this type of game but still want to experience it. I wouldn't say Metroid Dread's not accessible. It has to be the kind of game you want to play, which is heavy exploration with really good combat. But what I mean by that is, if you're looking for a 2D beat 'em up, if you're looking for a linear experience, this isn't it. There are some times where you'll catch yourself going around in circles. Even me, familiar with these types of games for the most part, and a big fan of these types of games, had these things where I found myself running back and forth between 2 points that I couldn't pass, only to find something that I know I walked past 9 times, and be like, how did I miss that? So, you're probably gonna get stuck here and there. I immediately started a second playthrough, and did just that at one point. Did a lot of running around, ran around for probably about 10-15 minutes, and finally found where I was supposed to be going, one room further than where I stopped last time. Literally stopped one room short, and then went the other way, thinking, nope, not that way. So, and I said it out loud to myself, and I kind of reinforced it, especially when I found it. Super Metroid has a point in the progression like that for me too, and I can tell you exactly when it is. It's when you need to move from Power Bomb to, where is it? Power Bomb. It's the grapple beam. I always forget when it's time to go for the grapple beam. I think it's right after the speed boost. It's either right after the speed boost or after you get power bombs. It might be power bombs. Point being, I'll get the item and then be like, right, where was that again? So, but then again, at the same time, nope, that thought's gone. Thought's gone. Okay. Time to sleep. Dread was fantastic. I'm looking forward to continuing to play it. I could probably finish it tomorrow again. I was worried that it was going to be shorter, or at least feel shorter. Like, the good news is, thank you, Ben. The good news is, probably couldn't hear it, but he literally said that the second before I did. I'm saying my time was 10 hours, 10 and a half hours. That was the official clock. I don't think that counts like when you die. And God knows, uh, this game's signature enemy killed me multiple times and set me back a lot. And I think I spent about half an hour on the final boss. Always getting. There was all, even though like some attempts were much worse than others, each one I managed to, like, and this goes for all the bosses, even though some of the attempts were absolute bombs, I probably, on every attempt, figured out, one move, you know, like, this was the attempt where I figured out how to deal with that attack. But no, like, my actual playtime was probably closer to 15 than 10, maybe even a little more than 15. Um, but just excellent game. If you have a Switch and you like Metroidvanias, but the open-ended, exploration games that are based on finding new abilities that open up new areas, etc., etc. Give Metroid Dread a chance. It might even make you a fan. And, as much as I talk about how this one's super fluid and frenetic, it does not make me dread going back to other games. Like, I had been playing Samus Returns. I'll probably go back and finish that. And at the very least, I really want to replay Super Metroid, which is a game that I can beat. Or at the very least, there was a time where I was playing it a lot more. Granted, most of the time I'd get up to a certain point and quit. But, there was a point in time where I could sit down and in one 5-6 hour sitting finish Super Metroid. And I want to hook my SNES Classic up again and give it another run. But yeah, I'm going to bed now. Good night. Catch you all tomorrow.